The perfect illusion shatters. My name is Sofia Martinez. My name is Sofia Martinez, and I am 32 years old. I live in a beautiful apartment in Manhattan, New York, where the city lights shine through my floor-to-ceiling windows like a million stars. For the past 8 years, I have built a successful wedding planning business called Forever Moments. I have planned over 200 weddings, each one a perfect celebration of love and commitment. I believed in fairy tales. I believed in happy endings. I believed that true love conquers all. I was so very, very wrong. The picture-perfect life. 3 weeks before my own wedding, my life looked like a dream come true. My fiancé, Marcus Blackwell, was everything a woman could want. He was tall, handsome, and successful. He owned a real estate development company that was making millions. He drove a black Mercedes, wore expensive suits, and knew exactly what to say to make me feel special. When he proposed to me on a yacht in the Hudson River, with roses and champagne, I cried tears of joy. I thought I was the luckiest woman in the world. My best friend Victoria Chen was always by my side. We had known each other since college, 12 long years of friendship. We built our business together, sharing dreams, secrets, and struggles. She was more than my business partner. She was my sister in every way that mattered. When Marcus proposed, Victoria was the first person I called. She screamed with happiness and promised to make my wedding the most beautiful event we had ever planned. Every morning, I woke up next to Marcus in our luxury apartment. He would kiss my forehead and tell me he loved me. We would have coffee on the balcony, planning our future together. He talked about buying a bigger house, having children, and growing old together. His words were sweet like honey, and I drank every drop. Victoria would come to my apartment almost every day. We would sit at my dining table, surrounded by wedding magazines, fabric samples, and flower catalogs. She helped me choose everything: the dress, the flowers, the menu, the music. She listened to all my excited chatter about married life. She smiled, hugged me, and told me I deserved all the happiness in the world. The day everything changed. It was a Tuesday morning, cold and gray. Marcus had left early for a business meeting. I was still in my pajamas, drinking green tea and checking emails. My phone rang. It was the dry cleaner calling about Marcus's suit. They said his jacket was ready for pickup, but they found a phone in the pocket. Did he want them to hold it there? A phone in his pocket? Marcus only had one phone, the latest iPhone that he carried everywhere. Confused, I told them I would come get the suit and the phone. Maybe it was an old phone he forgot about. Maybe it was nothing. But my heart already knew. Deep inside, somewhere in the quiet space where truth lives, my heart already knew. Finding the second phone. I drove to the dry cleaner in a daze. The morning felt too bright, too sharp. When the woman handed me the suit bag and a small silver phone, my hands were shaking. I sat in my car in the parking lot, staring at that phone like it was a bomb about to explode. I pressed the power button. The screen lit up. No password. No lock. Just an open window into another world. The messages appeared immediately. Hundreds of them. All between two contacts, M and V. M was Marcus. V was Victoria. My best friend. My business partner. My maid of honor. Reading the truth. I read the first message. Then the second. Then the 10th. Then I lost count. My vision blurred with tears. But I kept reading. I needed to see it all. I needed to understand how blind I had been. M. Can't wait to see you tonight. She's working late again. We have the whole evening. V. Perfect. I miss you so much. Only 3 more weeks until the wedding. Then we can speed up the plan. M. I know, baby. Once we're married, I'll have access to everything. Her business, her assets, all of it. Then we can be together for real. V. What about the prenup? Did she sign it? M. Of course. My lawyer made sure it protects all MY assets and businesses. If she divorces me, she gets almost nothing. But if we stay married for 2 years, I can legally claim half her business as community property. Then we'll push her out. V. You're brilliant. She trusts us completely. She has no idea. She's too naive. Too busy playing wedding planner to see what's happening in her own life. I stopped breathing. The car felt too small, too hot. I scrolled further back, months and months of messages. They had been together for over a year. An entire year of lies, of secret meetings, of stolen moments while I planned seating charts and chose wedding favors. Then I found the message that shattered me completely. I need to tell you something.
I'm pregnant.
It's yours. I'm 8 weeks along. That changes things. But maybe it's good timing. Once I secure her money, we can be a real family. You, me, and our baby. What about Sophia? What about her? She served her purpose. She'll be heartbroken for a while, but she'll survive. Women like her always do. The complete betrayal. I sat in that car for 2 hours, reading everything. Every lie, every manipulation, every cruel laugh at my expense. They had planned this entire thing like a business deal. Marcus never loved me. He saw me as an opportunity, a source of money and assets. Victoria, my best friend, had betrayed me for a man and a share of my own business. The messages revealed even more. Marcus had been secretly transferring my business accounts into joint names. He had convinced me to add him as a co-signer on several accounts for emergency purposes. Victoria had been falsifying business expenses, skimming money into private accounts they shared. Together, they had been stealing from me for months while I planned a wedding that was nothing but a trap. I felt like I was drowning in ice water. Every memory replayed in my mind, now twisted and ugly. Every "I love you" was a lie. Every smile from Victoria was fake. Every moment of my perfect life was built on sand. And now the tide had come in. The moment of decision. I finally drove home, the second phone hidden in my purse like a secret weapon. When I walked into my apartment, everything looked the same, but I was different. The woman who left that morning no longer existed. In her place was someone I didn't recognize yet. Someone harder, colder, and angry. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw things. I wanted to call Marcus and Victoria and destroy them with words. But something stopped me. A voice in my head, quiet but strong, whispered, "Wait, think, plan." I had built a successful business by being smart, organized, and strategic. I had planned perfect weddings for couples who trusted me with their most important day. Now I needed to plan something else, something they would never see coming. I sat down at my computer and created a new folder. I titled it Evidence. I transferred every text message from that phone to my laptop. I took screenshots of everything. Then I started searching through my own business records, my bank statements, my legal documents. What I found made my blood run cold. Discovering the full scheme. The prenuptial agreement that Marcus's lawyer had drawn up was not what Marcus had told me. He said it was simple, just protecting his real estate business from any complications. But reading it carefully now, I saw the trap. It protected all of his assets while leaving mine completely exposed. If we divorced in the first 2 years, I would get almost nothing. But if we stayed married, he would have legal rights to claim half of my business because it would become marital property. I found transfer documents I had signed, believing they were routine business paperwork. Victoria had told me they were tax forms, insurance updates, necessary legal protections, but they weren't. They were authorization forms allowing Marcus to access my business accounts, to make decisions without my approval, to essentially take control of everything I had built. I found bank statements showing money missing from accounts. Small amounts at first, then larger and larger. Victoria had been embezzling for 7 months, carefully covering her tracks with fake invoices and invented expenses. They had planned this perfectly. Get me to marry Marcus, wait 2 years while slowly draining my business, then divorce me and leave me with nothing while they walked away with my money, my company, and each other. It was brilliant in its cruelty. Making the choice. I could have called off the wedding. I could have confronted them immediately. I could have gone to the police right then. But I didn't, because I realized something important. If I reacted emotionally, if I showed them I knew, they would have time to cover their tracks. They would have time to hide money, destroy evidence, and turn the situation against me. No, I needed a better plan. I needed revenge, but not the messy, emotional kind. I needed strategic, devastating public revenge that would destroy them completely while protecting everything I had built. So I dried my tears. I put on makeup. I hid that second phone in a locked box in my closet. And when Marcus came home that evening, I smiled and kissed him like nothing had changed. "How was your day, baby?" he asked, wrapping his arms around me. "Perfect," I lied, the word tasting like poison in my mouth. "Just perfect. I can't wait for our wedding. It's going to be the best day of my life." He smiled that charming smile, believing every word. He had no idea that the woman he was holding was already planning his destruction. The game begins. The next morning, Victoria came over with coffee and pastries. She sat at my dining table, the same table where we had planned dozens of weddings together. She laughed and chatted about flower arrangements and guest lists. She looked me in the eye and asked if I was excited about marrying the man of my dreams. "So excited," I told her, smiling warmly. "I'm the luckiest woman alive. I have the perfect man and the perfect best friend. What more could I ask for?" She hugged me tight. "You deserve it all, Sophia. You really do." I hugged her back, and in that moment, I felt nothing. No love, no friendship, no connection. Just a cold, clear determination. Over the next 3 days, I acted completely normal. I went to dress fittings. I confirmed vendors. I reviewed the wedding timeline with Victoria. I had romantic dinners with Marcus. I laughed at his jokes and fell asleep in his arms. But every night after they were gone, I worked. I documented everything. I made copies of financial records. I researched lawyers. I prepared my counterattack. And then I remembered something important. Marcus had a business rival. A man named Daniel Rivers who used to be his best friend and business partner until Marcus betrayed him in a deal 3 years ago. I had heard the story from Marcus's perspective. How Daniel was jealous. How Daniel tried to sabotage him. How Daniel was a bitter enemy. But now I wondered, what was the truth? What really happened between them? I needed to find out. Because if Daniel Rivers hated Marcus as much as I now did, maybe we could help each other. Maybe the enemy of my enemy could become my greatest ally. I picked up my phone and searched for Daniel Rivers's contact information. My hands were steady. My mind was clear. The game of deception. Meeting Daniel Rivers. I found Daniel Rivers's office address online. It was in a modern glass building in Lower Manhattan, much smaller than Marcus's flashy headquarters, but elegant in its simplicity. Rivers Development Group specialized in affordable housing projects and community development. The complete opposite of Marcus's luxury condos and overpriced commercial properties. I didn't call ahead. I didn't make an appointment. I simply showed up on a Thursday morning, walked into his office building, and told the receptionist I needed to speak with Mr. Rivers about Marcus Blackwell. Her eyes widened slightly at the name, and within 5 minutes, I was being escorted to the top floor. Daniel Rivers was not what I expected. Marcus had described him as bitter, angry, and jealous. But the man who stood up from behind his desk was calm, professional, and surprisingly kind-looking. He was around 40 years old, with dark hair slightly gray at the temples, sharp blue eyes, and an air of quiet confidence. He wore a simple navy suit, no flashy jewelry, no arrogant smirk like Marcus always had. "Miss Martinez," he said, extending his hand. "This is unexpected. Please, sit down." I shook his hand and sat in the comfortable chair across from his desk. My heart was pounding, but I kept my voice steady. "Mr. Rivers, I need your help, and I think you might want to help me once you hear what I have to say." He leaned back in his chair, studying me carefully.
"I'm listening."
Revealing the truth. I told him everything. I showed him the text messages on the second phone. I showed him the financial documents proving Marcus and Victoria's scheme. I explained the prenup trap, the embezzlement, the pregnancy, and the plan to steal my business after the wedding. Daniel listened without interrupting. His expression remained neutral, but I saw his jaw tighten when I showed him the messages. When I finished, he was quiet for a long moment. "Why come to me?" he finally asked. "Because Marcus destroyed you once," I said directly. "I did some research last night. 3 years ago, you and Marcus were partners. You had a major development deal worth $20 million. Marcus went behind your back, changed the contracts, and cut you out completely. He took all the profit and all the credit while you lost everything. Your company almost went bankrupt. Your reputation was damaged. And Marcus told everyone you were a bad businessman who couldn't handle success." Daniel's expression darkened. "He told you about that?" "He told me his version," I replied. "He said you were jealous and tried to sabotage him. But I don't believe his version anymore. I don't believe anything he says." Daniel stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the city. "Marcus didn't just steal money from me, Miss Martinez. He stole a project I had worked on for 3 years. An affordable housing complex that would have helped hundreds of families. He turned it into luxury condos that only rich people can afford. He destroyed something good to make more profit." "That sounds exactly like something he would do," I said quietly. He turned back to me. "What do you want from me?" "I want revenge," I said simply. "But not just emotional revenge. I want to destroy him completely, legally, and publicly. I want him to lose everything he cares about. Money, reputation, freedom. And I think you want the same thing. Forming the alliance." Daniel sat back down, and for the first time, I saw a small smile on his face. "You're right. I do want that. But revenge is dangerous, Miss Martinez. It can destroy the person seeking it." "Then we'll be smart about it," I said firmly. "I've spent the last 3 days planning. I'm not going to cancel the wedding. I'm going to let it happen exactly as planned. But on that day, in front of all his business partners, investors, family, and friends, I'm going to expose everything. Every lie, every crime, every betrayal. And I'm going to make sure he can't run from it." Daniel leaned forward, interested now. "That's bold. But what do you need from me?" "Information," I said. "You know Marcus's business better than anyone. You know his illegal deals, his shady investors, his hidden problems. I need evidence of his crimes that goes beyond just betraying me. I need something that will put him in prison, not just embarrass him." Daniel was quiet for a moment. Then he opened his desk drawer and pulled out a thick folder. "I've been collecting evidence against Marcus for 3 years, he admitted. "Tax fraud, bribery of city officials, illegal construction permits, falsified building inspections. I've been waiting for the right moment to use it." My heart raced. "Why didn't you expose him before?" "Because I needed more proof," Daniel said. "And because I knew he had powerful friends who could protect him. But if we expose him publicly, at a major event with witnesses and media present, he won't be able to hide. His powerful friends will abandon him to save themselves." "Exactly," I said, feeling hope for the first time in days. "My wedding is in 2.5 weeks. I've invited over 300 guests, including all his major investors and business partners. I can also arrange for business journalists to attend. They think they're covering a high society wedding, but we'll give them a much bigger story." Daniel looked at me with something like respect. "You're not just angry, Miss Martinez. You're strategic. I like that." "Call me Sophia," I said. "And yes, I'm very strategic. I built a successful business from nothing. I didn't do that by being weak or naive. I was just blinded by love. That won't happen again." Planning the perfect trap. Over the next week, Daniel and I met secretly almost every day. We met at coffee shops far from Manhattan, at his office after hours, and once at a library in Brooklyn where no one we knew would see us. We became partners in revenge, carefully planning every detail of Marcus's downfall. Daniel provided me with financial records showing Marcus's illegal business activities. He had proof that Marcus bribed city officials to approve construction projects that didn't meet safety codes. He had evidence of tax fraud going back 5 years. He even had recorded phone calls where Marcus threatened other businessmen who competed with him. "How did you get all this?" I asked, amazed at the detailed evidence. I hired a forensic accountant and a private investigator, Daniel explained. After Marcus destroyed me, I spent a year rebuilding my life. Then I spent 2 years building a case against him. I just needed the right opportunity to use it. Well, now you have it, I said. I contributed my own evidence. The text messages proving his affair with Victoria, the financial documents showing the embezzlement from my business, and proof that Marcus had forged my signature on several documents to gain control of my assets. Together, Daniel and I created a comprehensive presentation. We compiled everything into a video file with clear evidence, dates, and documentation. It was devastating and undeniable. We should go to the police now, Daniel suggested at one point. We have enough to arrest him. No, I said firmly. If we go to the police now, he'll hire expensive lawyers and drag it out for years. He might even escape punishment. But if we expose him publicly first, if we destroy his reputation and turn all his powerful friends against him, then the police will act quickly. Public pressure will force them to prosecute aggressively. Daniel nodded slowly. You're right. Public humiliation first, legal consequences second. Exactly, I said. And I want Victoria to suffer too. She's carrying his child and planning to steal my business. She deserves to lose everything just like he does. The unexpected connection. As Daniel and I spent more time together, something unexpected happened. I started to notice things about him that had nothing to do with revenge. The way he listened carefully when I spoke. The way he made me coffee exactly how I liked it without asking. The way he looked at me with genuine concern when I got emotional talking about the betrayal. One evening, we were working late in his office, reviewing the final presentation. I was exhausted, emotionally drained from pretending everything was fine with Marcus and Victoria during the day, then planning their destruction at night. Are you okay? Daniel asked gently, noticing my tired expression. I'm fine, I lied automatically. No, you're not, he said quietly. Sophia, you don't have to pretend with me. I know what betrayal feels like. I know how much it hurts. Something in his voice broke through my carefully built walls. Tears started falling before I could stop them. I loved him, I whispered. I really loved him, and Victoria was my best friend for 12 years. How could they do this to me? What's wrong with me? Daniel moved around the desk and knelt beside my chair. Nothing is wrong with you, he said firmly. Everything is wrong with them. You trusted people who didn't deserve your trust. That's not your fault. That's their failure, not yours. I looked into his eyes and saw genuine kindness there. No manipulation, no hidden agenda, just honest compassion. It was so different from Marcus's charm, which I now understood was always calculated and fake. How did you survive when Marcus betrayed you? I asked. Daniel smiled sadly. Barely. I was angry for a long time. I wanted revenge so badly it consumed me. But eventually, I realized that rebuilding my life was more important than destroying his. I built a better company with better values. I helped people instead of exploiting them. And that success felt better than any revenge could. But you still want revenge now, I pointed out. Yes, he admitted. Because now I have the chance to stop him from hurting other people. This isn't just about my pain anymore. It's about justice. That's how I feel too, I said. If I don't stop him, he'll do this to someone else. He'll keep lying, stealing, and destroying lives. Daniel stood up and handed me a tissue. Then we'll stop him together, playing the perfect bride. While Daniel and I planned in secret, I had to maintain my act with Marcus and Victoria. It was the hardest thing I had ever done. Every day, I smiled and laughed and pretended I was excited about the wedding. I went to final dress fittings. I approved the flower arrangements. I confirmed the cake order. I reviewed the seating chart with Victoria, carefully placing all of Marcus's investors and business partners in perfect positions to witness everything. You seem so calm, Victoria commented one afternoon as we worked on wedding details. Most brides are stressed out by now. I'm just happy, I said, forcing a bright smile. Everything is falling into place perfectly. My dream wedding with my dream man and my best friend by my side. What could be more perfect? She hugged me. I'm so happy for you, Sophia. You deserve this. The lie came so easily to her lips. I wondered how many times she had lied to me over the past year. Hundreds? Thousands? Marcus was harder to fool. He was watching me more carefully now, suspicious of my calm happiness. You're different lately, he said one night as we ate dinner. Quieter. I'm just tired from all the planning, I said casually. It's exhausting organizing a wedding this big. Maybe we should have eloped, he suggested, watching my reaction. No way, I said firmly. I've planned hundreds of weddings. Mine needs to be spectacular. Everyone needs to see it. Everyone needs to be there to witness our perfect love. He relaxed, satisfied with my answer. He didn't realize I meant every word, just not in the way he thought. The final preparations. 1 week before the wedding, Daniel and I met for the last time to finalize everything. We sat in his office, the completed presentation ready on a USB drive. Are you sure about this? Daniel asked seriously. Once we do this, there's no going back. Your life will change completely. My life already changed, I said. The moment I found that second phone, everything I thought I knew died. I'm not trying to go back to who I was. I'm becoming someone new, someone stronger. Daniel looked at me with an expression I couldn't quite read. You're remarkable, Sophia. When this is over, when everything settles down, I'd like to take you to dinner. A real dinner, not a planning meeting. My heart skipped unexpectedly. Are you asking me on a date, Mr. Rivers? I am, he said with a slight smile. But only after we destroy your fiancé and my former business partner. Timing is important. I laughed, a real genuine laugh for the first time in weeks. That's probably the strangest romantic proposal I've ever heard. Is that a yes? Ask me again after the wedding, I said. If I still want to date anyone after this disaster, you'll be the first to know. The wedding day approaches. The final week before the wedding passed in a blur of last-minute details and carefully maintained lies. I increased the wedding budget dramatically, charging everything to Marcus's credit cards. If he was going to try to steal my money, I would spend his first. I booked the most expensive venue in New York City, the Plaza Hotel Ballroom. I ordered premium everything, the best flowers, the best food, the best champagne, the best photographers. Marcus was thrilled, thinking it showed how much I loved him. He had no idea I was building the perfect stage for his public destruction. I also made sure to invite specific guests who would make the exposure more devastating. Marcus's biggest investors, his business partners, his wealthy clients, even a few city officials he had bribed. I invited business journalists too, telling them they were covering a high society wedding. They had no idea they were about to witness the scandal of the year. Victoria helped me with everything, still playing the perfect best friend. She fixed my veil, held my hand during stressful moments, and promised everything would be beautiful. The whole time, she was 8 weeks pregnant with my fiancé's baby, counting down the days until they could execute their plan to steal my business. 2 days before the wedding, I transferred all my legitimate assets to secure accounts Marcus couldn't access. I legally dissolved my business partnership with Victoria through emergency filings. I moved all my personal belongings out of the apartment I shared with Marcus, putting everything in storage. I was preparing for war, and I wouldn't leave anything behind for them to steal. Daniel called me the night before the wedding. Are you ready? He asked. More ready than I've ever been for anything, I said. Tomorrow justice comes. Tomorrow the truth comes out, Daniel agreed. And Sophia, whatever happens tomorrow, you're going to be okay. You're strong enough to handle this. I know, I said. And for the first time since finding that second phone, I truly believed it. The morning of the wedding. I woke up on my wedding day in a hotel room, not in the apartment I had shared with Marcus. The sun was shining through the windows, bright and clear. It was a perfect day for a wedding. Or in my case, a perfect day for justice. My mother and sisters came to help me get ready, completely unaware of what was about to happen. I put on my wedding dress, a beautiful white gown that cost $15,000 of Marcus's money. I looked at myself in the mirror and barely recognized the woman staring back. She looked like a bride, but she had the eyes of a warrior. Victoria arrived with the hairstylist and makeup artist. She was glowing, hiding her pregnancy under a flowing maid of honor dress. She helped me with my veil, her hands gentle and caring. "You look absolutely stunning," she said, tears in her eyes. Fake tears for a fake friendship. "Thank you," I said calmly. "For everything, Victoria. Really, for everything you've done." She had no idea I was thanking her for teaching me that trust must be earned, that appearances can lie, and that revenge is a dish best served cold. The car arrived to take us to the Plaza Hotel. As I sat in the back seat, watching the city pass by, I felt completely calm. No nervousness, no second thoughts, no fear. Only anticipation. Marcus, Victoria, and everyone else thought this was going to be the happiest day of my life. They were half right. The sweetest revenge. Arrival at the Plaza Hotel. The Plaza Hotel ballroom looked like a fairy tale. Crystal chandeliers hung from the high ceiling, casting rainbow lights across the room. White roses and orchids covered every surface, filling the air with their sweet perfume. 300 chairs were arranged in perfect rows, each one decorated with silk ribbons and fresh flowers. A string quartet played soft classical music as guests arrived in their expensive suits and elegant dresses. Everything was perfect, absolutely perfect. Marcus stood at the altar in his custom-made tuxedo, looking confident and handsome. His best man stood beside him, his brother James, who had no idea what kind of man he was supporting. The officiant, a kind older gentleman, smiled warmly as he reviewed his notes. I watched from behind the closed doors at the back of the ballroom. My heart was beating fast, but not from wedding nerves. This was the moment I had been planning for weeks. The moment everything would change. Victoria stood beside me in her flowing maid of honor dress, holding my bouquet of white roses. "Are you nervous?" she whispered, squeezing my hand with fake sisterly love. "Not at all," I said honestly. "I've never been more ready for anything in my entire life." She smiled, completely missing the true meaning of my words. Daniel was sitting in the back row of the ballroom, dressed in a dark suit. He caught my eye and gave me a small, supportive nod. Everything was in place. The reporters I had secretly invited were scattered throughout the crowd, their cameras ready. Marcus's investors and business partners filled the front rows. City officials sat near the back. Every person who needed to witness this was here. Walking down the aisle, the music changed. The wedding march began. The doors opened, and 300 people stood up, turning to watch me walk down the aisle. I took a deep breath and began walking, step by step, moving closer to Marcus. He was smiling that charming smile, the one that had fooled me for 2 years. His eyes were bright with confidence. He thought he had won. He thought he was about to legally trap me in a marriage that would give him access to everything I owned. He had no idea he was about to lose everything. As I walked past the rows of guests, I saw their admiring faces. They saw a beautiful bride, a perfect ceremony, a love story. But I saw witnesses. I saw the audience that was about to watch Marcus Blackwell's entire life collapse. I reached the altar. Marcus took my hands. His touch made my skin crawl, but I forced myself to smile. "You look beautiful," he whispered. "Thank you," I said quietly. "You look perfect too, like a man who has everything he ever wanted." "I do," he said, completely missing the edge in my voice. The officiant cleared his throat and began speaking. "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to witness the union of Marcus Blackwell and Sophia Martinez in holy matrimony." I let him speak for exactly 1 minute. Then I gently pulled my hands away from Marcus. "Actually," I said clearly, my voice carrying across the silent ballroom, "we're not here for that at all." The moment of truth. Confused whispers rippled through the crowd. Marcus's smile faltered. "Sophia, what are you?" "We're here," I continued, speaking directly to the 300 guests. Because I wanted everyone Marcus knows to see who he really is. Because I wanted witnesses when I expose the truth about the man you all think is successful, charming, and trustworthy. Marcus's face went pale. Sophia, stop this right now. You're being emotional. You're embarrassing yourself.
No, Marcus, interrupta calmly.
I'm being strategic. There's a difference. Daniel, if you would. Daniel stood up from his seat in the back. He walked down the aisle carrying a laptop computer. The confusion in the room grew louder. People were murmuring, shifting in their seats. Victoria grabbed my arm. Sophia, what are you doing? She hissed, her face losing color.